Welcome to what promises to be a lively edition of the Sports Show. Mike, Max, Trent Tucker, Lou Nanny, and Sid Hartman, representation from all of the winter sports. Sid Hartman, the Minnesota Gopher basketball.
Well, hold it, Maxie. Before we start, I got to say happy birthday to him. I wasn't here.
Look at
94
this, man.
years. Look at him. He's all dressed up.
Same one he wore when he turned 40.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Sid.
Yeah. And I hear the Twins are going to have a day for you.
November 5th.
Louis, go ahead.
The Twins are going to have a day for you, I hear.
Pardon me?
They're going to have a Twins Day for you this year? Good.
Yeah. November 5th, they had the wrong dates in that ad. I'll be with the company for 70 years.
No, what do you mean? What did they say in the ad?
Huh?
What did it say in the ad?
They said 63. It's more than that.
70.
69.
Well, does that give you more pension then?
Yeah. I'm like you with hockey.
Yeah.
So, are you happy about the Twins Day and everything? Last year they did it for Dave Mona. It was a big deal. As they threw out the first pitch, they had a party for him. It's a big deal.
Well,
All I know
why
is
wasn't
it was
last year too.
it was Jim.
Well, because they had to wait till they had 70 years in at the paper.
Oh.
Jim Pollad's idea,
Okay.
not my idea. I told him that there's other guys like him. He deserves it more than I do.
He
He's
just
done
had
right
one for
now.
hockey, though. He just had the big one for the Wild.
But they wanted to do it, and the publisher insisted on it, and we're doing it.
Same as the statue.
Huh?
You opposed the statue, and they still built the dang thing.
What's the statue got to do?
I said the same thing. You opposed that, and they still went ahead and did it, and they wanted to honor you. You should be humbled by that.
Well, it's really funny. I get a note the other day from John Kunala, who's 90-some years old. I wonder if I got my pocket. No, I don't have his jacket. He sends me a picture of the Lakers celebrating a championship. And he says, it's too bad you weren't in this picture, because if you hadn't come to my apartment about 10 times, I wouldn't have taken the job, and you deserve all the credit for putting the team together. So that made me feel pretty good.
All right.
That's good.
Because he had not, until this time, talked like that. I don't know what happened.
What do you mean he hadn't acknowledged that he hadn't given you that kind of due?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you don't want to talk about yourself. I know that. So let's move on to Gopher basketball, not making the tournament. Because you told me ahead of time I do not want to talk about myself and this whole thing. Gophers did not make the tournament. Were you
I
surprised?
said they'd make the tournament?
No, I said, were you surprised that they did not?
No, not surprised.
Because?
Wisconsin has got everything going over Minnesota. The hockey team swept the Gophers in the hockey, right?
No.
That was just
Well, they did, but the Gophers won the Big
that was
Ten.
the second. The
Yeah.
Gophers won the Big Ten. They split.
In
Yeah.
Madison.
Yeah, in Madison.
They split. The Wisconsin track team won the Big Ten championship.
No, not the track team.
Yes, they did.
Oh, boy.
They won the championship. And when the last
Gopher
time
wrestling beats them every time.
last time we beat them in football, so Wisconsin has a way of that coach is fantastic.
But what does that have to do with the Gophers not getting into the tournament?
They aren't any good, that's why.
Trent, your thoughts?
Well, they didn't play well enough, during the middle of the season, to have a chance to make the tournament at the end. I thought when they lost Andre Hollins, that really hurt them during the regular season.
Although a lot of Big Ten teams, as you looked at Adrian Payne today for Michigan State, a lot of them went without and still found a way.
Well, Michigan State is healthy now.
Yep, and they are good.
And when they are healthy, they could be the one team in the Big Ten
They're
that could
healthy
make
now.
a long run.
What's that?
What Big Ten teams got in?
6 of them. Nebraska, Iowa, Ohio State, Michigan, and Wisconsin.
Yeah, Minnesota was a 7 team.
Yeah.
After getting beat, if they'd have made a decent performance against Wisconsin, they might have had a chance.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Lou, how does that hurt your fundraising when they're not in the tournament? A lot?
No.
Little?
No, we're not talking about raising funds for one day. We're talking about raising funds for a long time to get
Long-term
yeah,
solution.
This is it's like any sport. That's why every year it changes. So
It all
that's
helps.
not a big thing. But I think if the Gophers wouldn't have blown that game to Michigan earlier in the year, and the one other game that they lost that they should have won late in the game.
Well, let's
Was
be
it
honest about
Northwestern?
this. The real killer is they lost at Nebraska. There's your swing game.
But also losing to Illinois at home hurt too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
'cause
that-
we
that
really
was a
look
tough
at 'em,
loss.
They had 2 big wins early on, and after that, they didn't beat anybody good.
Yeah, and you're losing to Northwestern and Illinois on your home floor. Those are 2 tough losses to overcome.
Yeah.
I heard you talking to Flip Saunders today, and he said this is all about now what kind of players you can bring in.
Well, so far, there's 4 great players in the Twin Cities this year, including a kid that's going to Xavier,
McCurra.
and they couldn't get any one of them. They came in late and all that stuff, but here's the point. They're going to have a hard time recruiting, basketball especially. Kids are going to go to schools that are on TV all the time. And a lot of these kids want to come out. Let me finish. will
Okay,
you?
okay.
They want to be on TV a lot, national TV, not just Big Ten TV.
That's national.
And they want a chance to turn pro right away. And
Okay.
the kids that are really good are not going to go
Okay,
to Minnesota,
okay.
and they haven't been going. The 2 exceptions were Williams and Mbakwe. Outside of that, they haven't got the good kids for a long time.
Okay, Trent, you start it. Louis, you pick up on it. Sid, you already made your point on this, though. Wisconsin can do it, and they're not getting top 100 recruits. Why can they? And Minnesota should be able to if Wisconsin can in basketball.
That's a very good question. I believe that Rich Pitino will have a chance, to go out and recruit nationwide and bring in some of the guys that would fit into his system to continue to move this program forward.
Louis?
I don't think there's any doubt about it. I have to disagree with Sid. I think you're going to see Patino recruit a lot of good players. And the TV now at Big Ten nationally, it's amazing the reach of that Big Ten network. It is a national network, so the kids will be able to be on TV like they are in every other sport. So that's not going to be a problem.
Just like Duke. Just like if they go to Duke, they'll be on the same number of TV. Or if they go to North Carolina,
They'll have the
University,
same number of
be on
games.
TV.
They'll
not
have-
even close.
They'll have the same number of games.
But
They'll have the same number
But you
of
already
games.
made the point. If Wisconsin can do it, Minnesota should be able to do it. You've
Well,
already made that point.
One thing he's been able to do is you never know when you recruit a kid whether he can play in the Big Ten. This guy at Wisconsin, he's taken guys that nobody else has wanted. Like he got a kid from Minnetonka this year. We'll see if
Gearing. I talk to his dad all the time. He redshirted this year. You know who that is, Trent. Okay, we'll take a break and further this conversation when we come back.
He's
And who
got
was
it,
Sid
Bruce.
sitting with at the state tournament last night?
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Canterbury Park 24/7 Card Club. Don't forget the Card Club at Canterbury Park. Cambria, makers of quality quartz surfaces. Ticket King. For the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. Soundpoint Audiology. Life is worth hearing. And Cuisine Concepts. Franklin Street Bakery at 11th and Franklin in South Minneapolis, just down from Mall of America Field. And Taste of the NFL. Proud to be the premier Super Bowl party with a purpose to support hunger relief locally and nationally.
Quality. It's the result of shared values. The joy found in an honest day's work. Respect for true American craftsmanship and the need, not the want, to get things right. It's the result of remembering your roots, being forever humbled by how far you've traveled and forever hungry to push on further. Quality is a result. Quality is who we are. Cambria. Family owned, American made. Extra DWI enforcement is being served on Minnesota roads on St. Patrick's Day. Don't be what you drink.
Have you ever considered a career in the media arts?
I want to be a graphic designer.
I want to create animations.
I want to be a producer.
I want to code websites.
Minneapolis Media Institute offers a variety of programs, from digital art and design, game art and animation, to recording and music technology.
I can be anything I want to be.
I can be anything I want to be.
Minneapolis Media Institute. Start your future now.
Cleaning away calcium, lime, and rust buildup is cleaner with CLR. It's safe enough to carry the EPA Designed for the Environment label. Yet it has a powerful cleaning formula that you can trust to dissolve tough calcium and lime deposits and surface rust stains quickly and easily. Crusty white buildup on shower heads and hard water stains from coffee pots. Plus, it helps dishwashers and washing machines clean better. Safe, effective CLR. We make cleaning cleaner.
CLR is available at these fine stores.
Want to help build the new football stadium? In just 20 weeks, Summit Academy will train you to be a plumber, sheet metal worker, pipe fitter, or iron worker. There's no out-of-pocket cost to you and no loans to pay back. Call Summit Academy at 612-377-0150 today.
Audi A4 drivers have spoken. And they rank the A4 highest in total quality index in its class. Experience the new Audi A4 at your local dealer today.
Looking for a nice, big, juicy rack of ribs?
Fabulous chops, huge steaks, and the Buddy Bowl? Then J.D. Hoyt's is the place for you. Hoyt's opened in 1983, and Mike Andrews and his partner John White have kept this Minnesota tradition at the top of the food chain. Managing owner Pat Montague gives us a tour.
At J.D. Hoyt's, enjoy a relaxed atmosphere, great food, friendly service, private dining room, second-to-none happy hour, just blocks from the new ballpark.
Located at 394 in North Washington. Locally owned, nationally known. Hoyt's.
Perfect place when you're coming downtown to watch the Timberwolves, the state tournament, or anything else. Great state boys basketball tournament. A lot of people over at J.D. Hoyt's. A lot of the coaches stopping by there. Say hi to Pat and the gang. Perfect place to dine in downtown Minneapolis. Welcome back to the sports show. I did not realize there's a lot of conversation about a shot clock and should there be one. Trent, you worked the high school tournament and Hopkins held the ball. I did not know this. You and Max Winter were the ones that originated and got the shot clock implemented in basketball.
This was after Fort Wayne came in here, and 48-minute game. They held the ball for about 40 seconds. You talk about
40 minutes.
Sons of great athletes. That what's his name?
Amir Coffey. Yeah.
Coffey's kid is already being recruited by North Carolina.
Right, because Roy Williams was there.
Yeah.
And then probably the best hockey player, or close to it, he knows better than me, is that Bellows kid.
Good player.
The sophomore class.
Yeah.
And we'll see if they get those two kids.
You mean Minnesota or who?
Yeah, Minnesota.
Okay, so what do you think of the whole shot clock fiasco at the state tournament?
I think a shot clock should be put in, and I think it's going to help speed the game up. And it's just good for the game, so then you won't have these situations happen again where a team can hold the ball for so long.
Trent, hasn't got something to do with a kid not playing in the shot clock, then coming to a college where there is a shot clock, coming to Minnesota, for instance. Doesn't it take them a while to get adjusted to?
Well, most of those guys you get are high-end players, though.
Well, it's a big adjustment. Now, I was in college, we didn't have a shot clock either. All of a sudden, now I go to the NBA, the game is much faster. So I'm used to taking my time, but now I have to speed myself up. So it can be an adjustment period. So I would love to see a shot clock in high school basketball in this area.
You never know.
I would just think you have to have it to allow these kids to develop their own talents.
Mm-hmm.
You can't develop your talents as well if you're just holding the ball all night long.
You're right. 100%.
The one thing I'll say, though, if you watch De La Salle play, everybody thinks that's an offensive move. I got to tell you, there's a lot of teams that won't get a shot off in the shot clock this year against De La Salle. It would work to the defensive team's advantage if you're really good defensively.
Well, but you can practice with it, so you know now that your offense has to speed up.
I'm just saying that they would have been forcing a lot of shots at the end of the shot clock against De La Salle the way they play.
I think it's a good thing for other teams as well. So now De La Salle have to speed their game up also because they like to work on their offense and take their time.
You're the athletic director of Minneapolis schools. Why don't you set a precedent and get the Minneapolis schools to put a shot clock in and start that way?
You can't do that without high school.
Yeah, high school has to start it first. You know, if I had your help, you know, maybe you and I can get this done together.
He's going to buy those he's going to buy those Minneapolis North jerseys first.
Oh, maybe he'll buy a shot clock for every high school team.
There
right.
you go.
There you go.
You're right. He still has not declared that charity money yet from the estate sale. It could be a shot clock fund that we don't know about.
Yeah.
But like Louis, in the NHL, they thought it would create more offense to have 4-on-4 in overtime, but it really hasn't. It still almost always goes to a shootout because teams don't want to lose that point.
Well, you still get much more opportunities than you do at 5-on-5. And now coming into next year, they've already, at the general manager meetings last Monday, they're going to recommend that they switch sides so that you have a long change. Every time you have a long change, there's usually more scoring. So that'll help that as well.
What do you mean by switch sides?
Well, you know, switch nets. You know how you do
nets?
first period, second period, yeah. In the overtime, usually they stay in the same net.
Yeah.
And so it's a short change. Well, when it's a long change, it's really difficult.
Because why?
You get tired, and it's tougher to change. You got to make sure the puck's deep. You got to come off at the right time.
I see. Because where your bench is relative to this, so all your changes are different.
That'll help creating more opportunities.
That's funny. You haven't done that for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, what are you gonna do, Sid? It's a hockey thing. When we come back, we'll talk about hockey and much more. Stay with us.
Attention, please get a pencil. Announcing a hearing breakthrough, a microchip that is so small it can fit on the head of a pin, worn hidden entirely in your ear canal, making you hear clear as a bell. And it's proudly made in the USA. Do you feel left out of conversations? Is it difficult to hear words in noisy environments? Do others say that you listen to the TV or radio too loudly? Do you feel like a bother to others due to your problems hearing? If you answered yes, you may qualify for this new chip in the ear. Only 50 participants are needed to try this microchip, so get a pencil. Call now to see if you qualify. This revolutionary chip actually mimics the natural sound selection of the human ear. With multi-core microprocessors, technology used in the most advanced computers, sounds are analyzed and classified each millisecond, controlling noise and making speech clear. Do not wait. Call now to see if you qualify to wear this revolutionary new microchip.
I have evidence that proves my dad's a space alien. Speaks a weird language. Drinks green stuff. He says he's from Albuquerque. I'm not buying it. I mean, just look at him. And one more thing. He has a spaceship. The evidence doesn't lie. My dad's an alien.
The highly advanced Audi A6, named to car and drivers 10 best. Experience exceptional value on the Audi A6 at your local dealer today.
There it is. Stop on by. Bruce Bonine and the whole group are waiting to see you there. Perfect for all seasons. Audi, Minneapolis. Drive away in a Q5. I guarantee you'll be happy. Welcome back to the sports show. Before we talked about hockey, you and I separately had a chance to talk to Tubby Smith last night. Was there recruiting? You had a chance to talk to him last night.
I had a long talk with him. I was a big Tubby Smith man. I'm convinced that Pitino is a good coach. He's a good young guy. He's got a good young staff. But he'll find out that there's reasons that Minnesota's not going to get the superstar basketball players. Okay, it's unheard of. 3 this year, actually 4 if you count the kid at Lakeville North. They don't get any of them. Tubby wouldn't have got them. They didn't get them. Like I said to Louis, he said the Big Ten Network is good. There's no doubt about that. But if a guy like Mike Krzyzewski or Roy Williams or the guy at Kansas comes
Bill
in,
Self.
Yeah, and starts recruiting those kids, they ain't going to Minnesota.
Okay. Louis, do you think that, obviously you got on the campaign for facilities, but do you think facilities are overrated in recruiting?
No, I don't think they're overrated. I think they can definitely be a factor. If you look at North Dakota in hockey, there's a couple kids that I know of never got to Minnesota. They were going to North Dakota the week before they were coming to Minnesota, like Zach Parisi. Signed up on the spot. They never
North
came
Dakota
down.
got a better facility?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a newer rink. But Williams, I mean, Mariucci Arena is still terrific.
Yeah.
But you know, there are, in all sports, there are kids that really get impressed by the facilities. And also, you got to look at the campus atmosphere. You got to look at
I think
how
Minnesota's a
sports are
great
taken.
campus atmosphere.
I think Minnesota's great. We got something nobody else has got. First of all, we got professional sports, which
You're right.
is really important. If I was coming here. If I'm a hockey player, I'd want to come here and watch the Wild and be able to
Absolutely.
play hockey.
Yep.
On top of that, we got about 17 or 19 Fortune 500 companies.
Yep.
So if you're a kid and you're thinking about what am I going to do after if I don't make pros, you got a better chance to get a job in areas like that. We got a lot of good selling points here.
Trent, I'm told.
Then tell me why, if that's the case, Mason couldn't get the top kids. Warmath, 1 year he lost Nagurski. He lost
Nagurski.
Colissimo. All the good kids from the range, the good football players, went to Notre Dame.
Warmath did pretty good when he was here.
Yeah, they took care of him. That's what.
Well,
Maybe you answered all the questions.
There is some of that going on. We still know that.
Trent, I've been told, though, in this day and age, like it or not, when it comes to basketball, different than hockey perhaps little, is you better be able to tell them you can get them to the NBA because everyone thinks they're going to the NBA.
Well, they would like to think that, but, I go back to Jim Dutcher found a way.
Yeah.
To bring in the #1 recruiting class in 1978. And he reached across the country and got some players who had never come to Minnesota before. And most of those guys still live here today. So if he found a way to...
stays, do you guys win a national championship or go to the Final Four?
I think if Mark Hall would have stayed with us, we'd have had a nice chance to do that. But he found a way to get it done. And if he could find a way to get it done, I believe that the next coach should be able to do the same thing.
Well, here's the thing. They do have 3 good recruits, especially one kid out of Washington. We'll see how good they are next year, how well they did. They came in, they recruited 3 kids. They got 3 more scholarships. They did another smart thing. That high jumper wasn't going to play basketball, so they talked to him about giving up basketball, and he wanted to give it up too. I think they will be aggressive recruiters, but the best kid they both were recruiting, Rick Pitino got his son's kid, a kid from Egypt, went to Louisville. He visited here, visited Louisville, went to Louisville. So there's a good example of that kid. Louisville's a noted basketball center. They're on TV all the time. They play in Madison Square Garden. They play in places like that. There's a lot of reasons.
Can I go back to what I said earlier? If Wisconsin can do it, why can't Minnesota do it? You keep throwing this stuff out. All you got to do is look east.
Because he probably is maybe the best judge of talent.
So then if you're a great judge of talent, then you can do it in Minnesota, right? If you can do the same thing.
He gets kids who aren't that great in college.
Louis, what do you think as a college coach in general is the #1 component? Is it being able to judge talent? Is it being able to recruit talent? Is it being able to X and O because you can out X and O people? Which one would you give as your top?
It's a combination. It's being able to judge and then recruit. You got to be able to recruit. If you can't recruit, I mean, you could be a good judge of talent, but if you can't sell a kid and come in here, then what good is it? So it's recruiting is #1. You got to be able to recruit.
How did they recruit you, Trent?
Well, they came in and they let us know that this would be a good spot for us to all fit in. And we looked at Minnesota and said, hey, this is the right fit for us. A player has to look at a situation and not look at the name per se. Look at the situation that he's going to, that's presented to him, and ask the question, is this the right fit for me?
Oh, hang on, he wants to ask something.
Tyler Nanny's a good reason.
Yeah.
I wrote a column about him, and I had him on the radio. And he didn't want to go to Minnesota.
Oh, no. Minnesota never talked to him. Minnesota never talked to him. Minnesota had already committed a year and a half ago. They committed 3 kids on defense. So they had already committed a year and a half out, and it might be a mistake that they made.
Yeah.
Or Tyler would have gone to Minnesota.
When Tyler talked to me.
Well, no, when he got upset when he wasn't recruited, he said that I'm not going. If they come back now, I'm not going.
He knows more about this than you do. Who are you kidding? Go ahead.
Tyler is a good example.
Okay.
These kids, a lot of these kids, unfortunately, they want to get away from home.
Okay.
And they want to get away from home. I got a grandson who's at Purdue.
Right. I don't think anybody's blaming him.
Huh? I mean, he's not an athlete, although he did to play football at Wayzata.
But what's he going into? Is he going to be a pharmacist? Because that's what Purdue does well.
Engineering.
Engineering, okay.
Yeah.
That's good,
So, I
too.
mean, there's lots of reasons you go
Yeah.
away. Take a break, come back.
They got a great.
If you guys could go on a free shopping spree anywhere, where would you go? I'd go to the grocery store. Pizza, ice cream. I'd go shop for clothes. You know where I go? I'd go to Ticket King. Ticket King! At Ticket King, you can buy great seats for the Vikings, Christian Ponder, the Wild, Zach Parise, the Timberwolves, Ricky Rubio, and of course the Twins. We love the Twins. Yep, this is where I go. Vikings, Twins, Wild, Timberwolves, Gophers, theater, and concerts too. Justin Bieber! Hey, I like him first. For details, go to ticketkingonline.com. Any ticket, anytime, anywhere. It's the real thing. It's Ticket King. Right, Dad?
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
That's for sure.
The visibility and the awareness that this particular year brings to the issue of hunger is a dream come true.
The world turns its eyes to one place, and then Taste the NFL stands up and says, and as long as you're looking here, don't forget what else is here.
I hate the fact that little kids go hungry. I hate the fact that even grandmas that can't afford medicine or food, they give up food.
This is a cause that's very near and dear to my heart. It's so relevant, and to actually hear about hunger, we hear about the statistics, but to see it, firsthand, it's a very different thing.
There are a lot of people who are having to decide whether to pay the heat bill or have enough food. And so the need is there. The need is great. And we're people who are well positioned to help meet that need.
There it is, Taste of the NFL. Visit the website. Wayne Kostrowski doing an outstanding job. Franklin Street Bakery and beyond. The Minnesota Wild, are they going to make the playoffs comfortably here? They got a 5-point lead.
They are.
You were very disappointed last night, though, in that shootout loss.
I'll take my hat off that Leopold. I was talking to Brian Lawton the other day, and the first thing he said was, you got to give the owner a lot of credit. I mean, some general managers go to the owner and they won't spend the money.
We only got so much time here left because we're going short, okay? And that does send the right message to the fans, doesn't it?
Well, Leopold's done that since he's been here. He's always been willing to make whatever move he thinks, or the general manager thinks is important to winning. I
just want Timberwolves question quick. Adelman back, given the way this thing has faltered on him?
I'll have to say it's probably 40-60. 60% he's not going to be back.
I don't think so either. Do you think Fred Hoiberg's the guy?
He could be.
He'd be a good candidate anyway. Or do you think Flip will take? Sid thinks Flip's going to be the next coach of the Timberwolves.
Fred would be a good choice.
Will not leave Ames, Iowa. You can bet on that.
I will not bet on that.
He was
I will not bet on that.
Well, I know him as well as you do.
I will not bet on that.
Let me tell you. I know him as well as you do.
I will not bet on that. You might be right, but I will not bet on that.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Canterbury Park 24/7 Card Club. Don't forget the Card Club at Canterbury Park. Cambria, makers of quality quart surfaces. Ticket King. For the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. Soundpoint Audiology. Life is worth hearing. And Cuisine Concepts. Franklin Street Bakery at 11th and Franklin in South Minneapolis, just down from Mall of America Field. And Taste of the NFL. Proud to be the premier Super Bowl party with a purpose to support hunger relief locally and nationally.